Hey, Readers, this is Phil Duke here for Horse News. I'm here with Sara Richards from
Hello.
Comics.
Hi.
Okay, so we're at the very last day of the very last BronyCon 2019. Yeah, it's been quite an emotional ride, hasn't it, so far?
It's been a long marathon of a weekend. Yeah. It's been really good though. It's been so much fun.
Yes.
So yeah.
Now, we got some stuff from the comic panel yesterday, which is going to go up with this. So the questions I'm going to ask are going to be a little more in depth than normal, because, well, a little more advanced, if you know what I mean. Okay, so what's your latest project in Pony so far?
Oh yeah. So I just handed in the cover for 84. So I don't know how much I can really say about it, but it's gonna be super cute. Pretty excited for you guys to see it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any projects coming up outside of Pony?
Yeah, so right now I'm working on illustrating the Royal Book of Oz for Clover Press. So I'm almost done with that. If you guys follow me online, I'll have more information about that soon. But I'm really excited to do that. Might be working on some creator-owned stuff, some like ghost stories I want to write and illustrate. And other than that, I have a cover for Rick and Morty coming out for New York Comic Con for Oni Press. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm going to come down a bit. This is easier.
You're so tall.
Okay, so have you written any stuff lately?
Yeah, actually, so I wrote a story for the John Carpenter compilation called Tales for a Halloween Night. So that's my first writing credit.
Awesome.
So I'm really excited about it. It's spooky ghost owl alien story kind of thing.
Has that been released yet? Or
it'll be out at New York Comic Con, but I think you can pre-order it on Amazon right now.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it's issue 5 of Tales for a Halloween Night. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, as we know, the show is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Will you be sticking around for G5?
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so. It's one of those things that as long as they contact me after, so if everybody wants me to stick around, like let them know.
Yes. I mean, we still want you to come to conventions.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, because comics in a way is almost like fan work in a way, because you know it's not, well, it's canon, but it's you know it's your own interpretation. And, and plus, you're not part of the thing directly. I mean, I interviewed Andy Price recently. No, Tony Fleecs.
That old prospector.
No, Tony Fleecs.
That old prospector.
Yeah.
They're both.
Yeah.
They're the same person.
Yeah.
It's the beards.
And you know, like Tony started out as a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I mean. You can. That's why comics are a great medium if you're a fan of something.
Totally, and they're all great people. Everybody who works on the comics is the nicest people I've ever met. So it's really cool to read what the coolest people I know create, and to be a part of that's pretty awesome. So,
yes. Could you tell us anything? Do you know anything about what's going to happen with the comics in G5?
I can't if I knew anything, which I don't. So it's a double sorry for that one.
That's okay.
Everything's gonna be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So next thing. So how did you get into Pony in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm from New Hampshire. I had a local comic shop called Double Midnight Comics, and they had me do their retail incentive covers. So those all had to go by the editor as well to be approved. Yeah. So that's how I got my foot in the door there, and then I just picked up some like emergency projects where they're like, we need this tomorrow. It's like sleep is for the weak, so I just did it and just kind of proved that I could keep on deadlines and get work done really fast. And that was 7 years ago. So
and one of those was a Pony-related project, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that was My Little Pony, like the micro series comics when they first started. Those were my first comics. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what is your favorite memory of the fandom or the show? So
actually I wrote this is my other writing credit I guess I did. It's a 2-page story in Pros and Comic Cons from Dark Horse. It's a story I did about my BronyCon experiences where when I do a sketch for somebody, a lot of times they'll walk away kind of holding it, and it's like the coolest feeling in the world to have something I made mean that much to someone. It's like usually an OC that like represents them or any main 6 maybe, even a canon character, and to just see somebody kind of like hug a piece of artwork walking away is kind of the coolest thing.
Yes.
My heart grows 3 sizes that day, and it is pretty great.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the cringiest thing you've seen in the fandom?
Oh man. Yeah. I've been to a couple night markets at certain shows where there are some stuff I can't unsee of adult nature. I may have gotten some things as joke gifts for people too, so I can't say I did not like it.
Yes. Some of the more censored versions of it can actually be seen around the Arts Alley.
Yeah, there's some saucy stuff around here.
Yes, but because we won't talk about that too.
No, that and like Google Images, honestly. If I'm just looking for reference for a cover, I'll just type in anybody's name, and about 2 lines down is stuff that just I don't need safe search on usually, unless I'm looking at My Little Pony stuff. So that gets a little
jarring.
rough. Yeah. But you know.
I mean, I can only imagine. Speaking of joke gifts, I can only imagine the time Peter News reaction when he got that Dakimakara through the post.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
It was an anthropomorphic Big Mac as well. That was.
Oh no.
Yes.
It'll wake you up.
Yeah, wearing almost nothing.
Well,
that makes it worse somehow.
Casual Big Mac.
Yes. He posted a photo online of him fitting cereal, like on Twitter.
God. You gotta own it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so last thing, and we'll do a quick fire round.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for people who want to get into comics?
Yes. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It is an all-the-time job. So like you have to be ready to work all the time. You have to meet those deadlines, not get that sleep, put that Xbox away if you have some work to do.
Yes.
It's really hard actually. We're all exhausted.
Yes.
But you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it's not an easy job to be in.
I know how you feel.
Hustle.
Yes,
all the hustle.
Hustle. This takes precedence over everything else I'm doing. Apart from my work, but I have a job as a But anyway, quick fire round.
Yeah, okay.
Favorite pony and least favorite pony?
Rainbow Dash is my favorite.
Yes.
Least favorite. Oh man. I don't have a least favorite. I like them all.
That's good. That's
yeah. I mean, okay. I don't like Trixie. I'm gonna just say it. She's not very nice.
No, she is.
And her hat is really hard to draw. I can't draw hats.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay. Favorite episode and least favorite episode?
Oh my god. So I love Autumn Blaze. So like the Kieran episode's my favorite.
Yes.
Same with, I don't really have a least favorite. They all have something really awesome in them. Because I have two favorites, if that makes up for not having.
Sure.
So the babysitting one with pumpkin and pound cake.
Yeah, that's
because there's a train spotting reference in it that just kind of blew my mind.
Yes.
So yeah, that kind of stuck out.
For that,
it's so good. It's so good. And that's why it's like with the comics, when we put little Easter eggs in it, it goes with the show. Like you have these movie references that I don't think the audience, like kids aren't going to get it, but the older audience can have so much fun with it. So yeah.
Okay, so do you have any final words for Horse News?
Thank you guys so much for coming. You guys are amazing, and you're rad, and someday maybe I'll be as tall as you.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
You're welcome.
All the best.
Thanks.
So one quick question. Will you be staying around to watch G5?
Oh yeah, I'll be there, man.
I'm here with Tony Fleecs.
Hey, everybody.
We spoke in February at HarmonyCon, so we're just going to do a quick catch-up. I've spoken with Sarah Richards. That was the first part of this video. Okay, so quickly, first off, have you got any new projects coming out soon?
Yeah. Right now we're working on Feats of Friendship, which is a 3-issue miniseries about the Student 6. It's me and Ian Flynn from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, that's a good, I've been reading that as well.
Oh, amazing. I must have sold all the other ones. You want me to sign it for you? Sorry.
That's okay. Just make good copy. Okay, so yeah, Feats of Friendship.
Yeah, Feats of Friendship is a 3-issue miniseries. It's me, Ian Flynn. The first issue is all drawn. It should come out in the next couple of weeks. I did the colors myself on the first one. We'll see about the next two because I'm a little late on them right now, so they might be a little late. We'll see.
Sure.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, so have you got any new projects outside opponents you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, I'm working on Star Wars comics. The Road to the Rise of Skywalker is like the 3 issues of Star Wars Adventures that come out before the Episode 9.
Yes. And
I'm doing a story with Mike Marici about the droids R2 and 3PO and BB-8 getting in a little adventure before the 9th movie starts.
Great. Okay, so as we know, G4 is ending. Have you heard anything about G5? In regards to comics, like any tidbits of information come through?
Yeah, I've heard some stuff. There's going to be comics.
Oh, good.
I don't think I'm allowed to say anything more than that, but and I think they're still sort of finalizing what they're going to be necessarily, but there will be comics.
Will you be working on them?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I mean, as long as I don't screw up too bad in between now and then.
Oh, good. Okay. So how's the convention been for you so far this weekend?
It's been crazy. Like the first day, after the first day was maybe the best BronyCon I ever had. And since then, it's all sort of just been gravy.
Yes, I mean, I've been running around all over the place. I'm just doing my total coverage thing as per usual,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's got to have been exhausting for you being all over the place.
Yes. So yeah, with the G5 stuff, I know we can't talk too much about it. Is it tied to G4 at all in any way?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that part I don't know about.
Okay. But IDW is confirmed as working on the comics.
It was after
I don't know if they're
2015
talking about G5 comics. There's just going to continue to be comics.
Oh, I see. So you're not
There
sure.
may still be G4 stuff. Like, we're not wrapping up just because the show's wrapping up.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, so it's not, you're not contractually obligated to wrap up just
No.
because there. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's great.
So it could be you'll still see those same characters.
Yes. So you don't know if there's going to be any work for IDW or you on G5 yet?
Not that I know of yet. I mean, we don't even know, when that's going to be. Or...
Yeah, it's still.
I don't remember that one.
Okay.
I
So.
still love how Wes came.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I mean, the other stuff I was going to ask you. Well, I've asked you before about the cringy stuff, the fun stuff.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You can see that back in our interview in February, back in HarmonyCon in Dallas.
Yeah, we got real disgusting in Dallas.
Yes, the headboard on his bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah, that was disgusting. Too.
Yes. Almost as disgusting as the quality of the footage, but it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So final thing. Do you have any more advice? Any other advice to give to people who want to get into comics, or for vending? And also, do you have anything to say for Horse News and readers out there?
Well, of course, I love Horse News. Keep up the excellent reporting. You guys are the true voice of ponydom, I think. Advice, I don't really. I mean, it's the same stuff all the time. Just draw all the time.
Yeah.
Try and be a good hang. I tell people that. Like, people say it's about like who you know. Like, sometimes that's important, but I think it's not so much that as it's just like people want to know that you're not going to be a pain in the butt. So try and be a good hang. Be enjoyable to be around.
Diplomacy is important. Okay, and one last thing. Are you going to watch G5 at all? Do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Okay, this
Looks great.
Yep, this Photo Horse News. All the best. Take care, everybody. Okay, everybody. This is Photo here for the next event, the writing and production panel, starring the writers, of course. As we can see, it's not started just yet. It's obviously empty at the moment. People will be coming in very soon, and I'm using this opportunity to just test my equipment to make sure the exposure is correct. So this is coming up shortly. Audio's on. Things are going to go soon. Fade out.
All right, we're going to go down the line and we'll have everyone introduce themselves and say what they do.
Oh shoot, I'm first, aren't I?
Oh, man.
Hi, I'm Sara Richard. I do a lot of the covers for My Little Pony. Yeah, cover artist.
That's it?
Sure. I like long walks on the beach. Usually around 6:30 is when the magic hour is. And that's where all my ideas come from. So.
That's my time.
Smaller time, actually Jen.
Apparently I'm Tony Fleecs, and this is Andy Price.
They're cosplaying each other, isn't it great?
No, I'm Andy Price. Everybody's been calling us by the other names.
I do too.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Weird.
Way different.
I mean, look at me.
Look at
I'm
you.
a pretty man.
Yeah. I am a horrifying monster.
No, I'm Andy Price, and I've been working with the ponies for 7 years now. I just hit my 7th anniversary. Yeah, since issue 1. But that's me.
Yeah. My name is Tony Fleecs. I draw the My Little Pony comics also for 7 years. Also from issue 1, but just on the covers at that point. It's less impressive, you understand. Right now I'm drawing a book called Feats of Friendship, which is about the Student 6, or the New 6. I like Student 6 because it's alliterative. But yeah, that's what I do. I've drawn many comics, and I will continue to draw comics. This is Trish.
Okay. Hi, I'm Trish. New here. I've been doing covers for a little while. I always forget to turn them on.
In stereo.
I'm in stereo. Now in stereo. I've been doing covers for a little while. I really, really love My Little Pony, and I owe my start to Sarah.
Oh, shucks. You were going to get it anyway. It's fine.
Big round of applause for Trish. She's
Yay! She's better than all of us anyway, so I'm just trying to keep up.
She's certainly more moral.
Yeah. She's the best of us. We're all terrible people.
I've not yet been corrupted.
Not yet.
Give it time. Give it time.
Hang out with us some more.
The combination
Sorry,
of
advance.
ponies and cartooning will get you.
You want to talk about stuff?
Let's talk about stuff.
Do it.
So let's first start off with everyone go and talk a bit about your creative process for doing what you do.
So mine, just because I work on more covers than anything, I kind of wait to hear from the editor about what the story is going to be about. And from there, usually I do some quick thumbnails, do about 4, unless I have a really good idea, and I try to sell them on 2 or 1. And then from there, I do everything. Okay, I should preface. I used to do everything traditionally. I have started using digital, but I've been corrupted. I know. I didn't want to, but it makes deadlines so much easier. Usually I do acrylic paint on illustration board. I've since started using Procreate on the iPad, which is a super fantastic program. Right? Changed my life. So yeah, from there, I'm really inspired by Art Deco and Art Nouveau, so that's kind of where all like the swirls on my work come from. What? But yeah, so I hand those in. That's about it, I guess, for process.
Well, I am almost entirely traditional, probably like 98% traditional. I will occasionally color digitally, but that's about it. And I always think, I'll color digitally, it'll make it faster, and I swear to God, it takes me twice as long to color digitally.
That's because you have like unlimited options.
I have unlimited options, and I just can hit the back button as many times as I want, and it's unlike traditional art where you hit the paper and you're like, you're committed. But that's me. That's me. I also like the best time for me to do work is late at night. Especially like once I crest midnight, I am at 90 miles an hour. I can do the best work, and I can do certainly the best inking. You will always do your best inking at night. Your hands are steadier. The cats are asleep. The wife is not yelling at me that the laundry's not done.
Do you listen to anything? Watch anything while working?
I watch the same damn things over and over and over and over. I don't know how many times.
Let's see if, can you guys tell us what Andy watches?
Yeah, because we've had this question.
Back in 66.
What's the other one?
Fringe.
It's in the Korean War.
Smash. I don't know how many times I've watched these series over and over and over again.
That's how you draw for My Little Pony.
Yes.
You can do it too.
And I'll tell you, the Dick Van Dyke Show is very conducive to drawing ponies. I don't know why. I guess the comedy of it. But I've almost always got TV going, or occasionally a podcast, but even that, if it's something too in-depth, I find myself staring at the speaker rather than drawing.
Like old-timey radio.
Like old-timey radio, because I was born in 1837.
Those whole families sit around the podcast and stare at it.
Which is nice now, I have to say today.
Yeah.
Fireside chat.
Attention, Ponyville and all the ships at sea.
Yeah, podcasts are my jam ski. They're pretty great.
But if I'm going to listen to a podcast, it's got to be something horrific. It's got to be multi-murders and...
Oh yeah, all the best pony covers are done to true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
Dahmer, Twilight Sparkle, goes hand in hand. It's great.
Yeah, Forensic Files is also very conducive to trying ponies.
We're
And that's-
sick people.
At convention, once I get settled into the hotel room, the first thing is, all right, which channel has either the Golden Girls Marathon or the Forensic Files
Read the
Marathon?
murder.
And we're set. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, yes to murder, no to Magnum PI. Sorry. So my creative process is I do like a combination of digital and traditional. I do my layouts and thumbnails. They call them thumbnails because you're supposed to draw them about the size of the thumbnail, but mine are a little bigger. I do all those digitally. and then I get them approved through IDW and Hasbro, the publisher, licensor, and then I'll usually draw my pages traditionally on paper, just because it does make you stop working, and like once you put it down in ink, you're like, okay, we're done here, we can move on. There's no undo unless you use whiteout, which I do sometimes too. But yeah, so I do pretty much both. Then I scan it back in, I color digitally again. I work at nighttime. I write and draw comics, but mostly I draw, so I'll be listening to or watching stuff, or sometimes I'll just sit there and think about what the next thing I'm writing is while I'm drawing. It's sort of like you're always working on two different things at the same time. Like you're focused on this thing, but your mind's able to, like once you get to inking, you can just sort of let go and just do your thing. And that's sort of the best time to get creative and think about other stuff, because it's just
Yeah, it really is.
mindless,
Yeah.
autopilot, like that you're just in your zone, you can sort of get real zen and think about stuff. So.
But once
Good
you get
or
the
bad.
pencils down, the work is done.
Yeah.
Everything else is just.
Tell that to your anchor.
Yeah. You're just embellishing and
Oh,
adding a
watch
couple
that
of textures, but yeah, your brain can kind of.
I think with the anchor, when you replace the free, like mindless part of it when you're an anchor is the anxiety that you're gonna mess it up for somebody.
Yeah.
When it's my own thing, I'm not worried about messing it up for me.
That's true, yeah.
You're the one who's gonna clean it up?
Yeah. I'm not gonna be any more disappointed in myself than I already am.
That's true.
Trish,
We're very disappointed in some.
Well, I also draw at night, and I don't do the true crime thing. I listen to background music from automotive car show things that my husband watches.
like the British ones.
Do you listen to Car Talk?
Oh.
Or what's that NPR, like, what was Car Talk on NPR, like forever ago?
He's listening to the British guys talk
Yeah.
about cars.
Yeah.
They go, this is what I used to have a buddy that worked in the studio with me, and he watched that same thing. This is what it sounds like every time. This car drives very fast. And then they drive it around the thing, and then they go, I can't believe how fast that car drove.
I use Photoshop for inks and colors, Mischief for sketching because I can do it on an infinite canvas and it's fantastic.
It's called Mischief?
Mischief. It's fantastic. It's got nice brushes for sketching and it imports directly to Photoshop. So it's awesome. And real media I do not as much as I used to. I feel like I do.
You doodle a lot.
I do.
You doodle probably more than any of us, because you still work a day job. So
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff I see from you will just be on like
Like a
line
3
paper,
by 3
napkins.
cover. Yeah. I do a lot of that. Pen doodles on 3 by 3 post-it notes. Until I get a stack like that at work and they ask me what I'm doing all the time.
That'd be mine.
Yeah, so how many of you out there draw? Even just like when you're on the phone or whatever. All right. How many of you draw when you're supposed to be doing something else? You're going to do just fine. Just fine.
Or when you're at school, if you doodle in the columns.
Yes.
Yeah, right? And the teacher doesn't believe you, that's how you listen better?
Yeah. I had one teacher that knew if he's drawing, something's getting through. He's not drawing. Why aren't you drawing? Why aren't you listening to me?
Didn't absorb a thing when I was paying attention. It was when I was doodling, I'd be... Yeah,
tell
you
you,
can tell comic pros that that's how you do it. That's how you
Another music that is great to draw to is the soundtrack for Skyrim.
Or Iron Man 1. That stuff makes you draw real fast.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. It's real good.
All right. So going off of that, what were some of your inspirations growing up when you first started drawing?
Man, I loved Lisa Frank. So that's probably for all the colors and stuff. I was super into anime for a really long time, which is honestly kind of detrimental for an art style. So if you draw a lot of anime, I don't want to say stop, but I want to say stop. it's hard to come out of that and to kind of create your own style after that. And if you're trying to get into art school, it makes it really hard to put a good portfolio together. So always, I know it sounds stupid and boring and teachery, but like, do some life drawing and show that you can do that. Anyway, but other than that, yeah, lots of Lisa Frank. I loved the ocean, so I drew a lot of like whales and stuff because I wanted to be an orca trainer for the longest time.
I used to draw fish a lot.
Yeah, they're fun.
They weren't real fish. They were just like nonsense fish.
Yeah. I like nonsense fish.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Tartar sauce.
Nonsense tartar sauce. Other than that, just kind of whatever movies I was listening to or watching, music I was listening to, kind of inspired me to create my own characters and any fan fiction that I did, which was mostly X-Men Evolution and Sayuki. I would draw those characters. Those still exist. What's it?
Have you met that X-Men Evolution guy at conventions?
No.
Steve Gordon.
No.
I'll introduce you. He designed all those characters. He
Oh my
designed
god.
organs.
I just want to meet the guy who played Nightcrawler because I had a huge girly crush on him. But I will say my stuff is still on fanfiction.net. I'm not going to tell you.
Everybody come to my room tonight. We're having dramatic reading.
That's the highest Patreon tier on my Patreon is to find out my fanfiction.net name. One person knows. It was given away at an auction at BabsCon. He's taking it to his grave too, apparently. So, anyway.
Inspirations. Well, it probably started with this 1960s Vincent DeFate Spider-Man cartoon. Quickly went to the Batman 66 show, and that introduced me to comics and comic books. But Charles Schultz, Neil Adams, Jim Aparo, Don Newton, all the old comic and comic strip people. Because again, I was born during the Revolution.
You could be born in 1969, right?
1969.
So the Spider-Man cartoon would have been a rerun at least.
Yes. But they used to show them to us at school if we were good. If we like did our nap time and all of that, and nobody beat each other up at recess, we got to watch Spider-Man cartoons. And they brought them in on a projector, showed them in the room. But a lot of the inspiration that I took for ponies when we first got the book, I tweeted out a picture of like the artist I was using for inspiration. People were like, "This book is gonna suck," because I was showing anything but what people were expecting. The people I was looking at were like Bertie Wrightson, who was a horror artist, but he's an amazing master of ink. That's what I was looking at. And people like Alex Toth and Steve Rude for composition and for background information and details. And one of the things that Sara said that I will say is, if you draw a lot of anime and you want to draw something else. If you want to draw ponies, draw something else. That's not to mean that you can't draw those. Don't just draw those. Draw more.
Yeah, think of it as like fishing. The more that you put out there into the lake, the more you're going to get back. So if you just have that one line out, you're just going to maybe catch something. And it's the same with jobs. So you want to be multifaceted for sure.
Also, after a while, we'll just get bored.
Yeah. And every once in a while we'll have people come up to us that ask, "Can you look at my portfolio, look at my art?" Which we are more than happy to do. And it's the same drawing of the same OC in the same pose on every page. And it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Do you draw anything else? Well, I really like this character, but can you draw this character in an environment? Can you draw this character running? Can you draw the character scared? Can you draw the character in a 72 Oldsmobile crashing through a skyscraper because he just hit that sinkhole outside? Because at some point, if you want to get into illustration, you're going to get a job that requires you to draw things you've never drawn or don't want to draw. But the more you draw, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you file it away. Like, I hate drawing cars, but I had to draw a car for that job, and it's in this script, so I can draw a car. So just draw everything you see.
Yeah. My inspirations are, we've done these panels so many times that I feel like I've said it 100 times. I'm 40 years old this year. That means in 1992 I was 13 years old. So that means like I love Image Comics. I love like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and Mark Silvestri and Todd McFarlane. So like all those guys, that was sort of very formative for me. But also at the same time was like the golden age of modern Disney animation and like Don Bluth animation. And so so it's sort of like the same, it's sort of like one half of me is like this savage, muscular, overly sexualized.
Which half of you is that?
The bottom half. And then the other half.
From the knees down.
And then the other half is, just like like the greatest, sort of like the peak of 2D animation and character design and stuff. So there's that. But then also it's like everybody that I like, I sort of fall down a rabbit hole of like who influenced them. So, you're reading somebody's work and you're just like, well, who do these people like? And then all of a sudden you're reading the comics that came out when they were 12 years old, and then you're reading those guys' comics that came out when they were 12 years old. Then you're looking at illustrators, then you're looking at painters, So my art bookshelf is very deep and very eclectic, because I tend to fall down rabbit holes and just sort of like try to soak up as much as possible. So, which at the end of the day, it sort of all comes through this prism and just comes out as this regular cartoony-ass style, and I don't know, I don't know if it ever, like if you could tell, like if you look at it, you're just like, well, this guy clearly has varied interests, because to me it just looks like what cartoons look like. So, I don't know. Hopefully it comes through. I feel like sometimes in my design and coloring, you go like, oh, this guy's up to some different type of stuff. So hopefully that comes through. Trish.
He stole half of my answer.
The bottom half? I'm inspired by traditional animation. The Lion King in 1994 changed my entire life, my entire process. Everything from that point forward was completely different. I was a sophomore in high school, picking up pencils and drawing on everything, and I wasn't really into comics so much. It was more the Sunday funnies, the comics page, Garfield, Family Circus, all that. Did you like Marvin?
Yes.
I like Marvin.
I like a lot of that, because you could tell a story in 3 panels and or get a gag out in 3 panels, and it was just brilliant to me. My silly brain could never grasp that enough to make my own until high school for some reason. I had like a trove of doodles. But yeah, traditional animation. I learned from that to explore drawing other things, environments, different character designs, reference things from real life, draw all the time, never stop. That's art everywhere. So I carried that with me my whole life. Inspiration.
All right, great answers.
Yeah.
So how much discussion is there between you guys and the writers when you're doing a cover or a comic?
Yeah. Mostly I just get like a little blurb, like I said, kind of just what the issue's going to be about. There's been a few times though it's for a character that doesn't have a design yet, so I'll like...
Sorry.
Yeah. Looking at this one. So I'll just like text these guys and make them draw me something right as best I can. No, they're pretty cool about like whipping something up, so I know what to kind of base the drawing on, or I just try to make it as vague as possible. Sometimes I fall into a trap of giving away the ending in a cover. Apparently, Equestria Daily has called me out on that a few times. So, but yeah, that's kind of the challenge too, is keeping it vague but relatable to the story. Or not. Sometimes we just have a really cool illustration that's pretty awesome too, something eye-catching, compositionally very good. But yeah, I don't have as much work as these guys do, really. So.
Usually, the majority of the stories that I've worked on have been with Katie Cook. Katie and I have known each other for years, so I can, even before Pony, so I can text her like, what are you thinking with this page? You know, whatever. But yeah, we get a lot of back and forth, especially if the writer writes something that they are having trouble visualizing. One of the reasons I like working with Katie is she is an artist herself, so she writes the script as an artist would. A lot of writers will say, here's the shed with the supplies by the docks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you want a writer that is either, I mean, no, you're happy to have any writer, they're the best, of course. But you like a writer that's been an artist themselves, or that is just very guilty about making you do all this work, and so that they think about it a lot. Because a lot of times, if they're just sort of going about their day and just knocking scripts out, they'll do stuff like, in this scene, Rainbow Dash opens the door and walks through it. And you're just like, well, did she open the door or did she walk through it? Because I'm only drawing her one time, she's not moving. So sometimes you will talk to the writers if it's about like clearing stuff up. What would you rather have in this? I can only do one of these things. You send emails like that, and just like, hey, can you clarify this? But there have been issues where like I haven't talked to the people at all. Like sometimes the script just comes in and it's good, and I just go like, okay, I can do this. But then there's times where you have to reach out and say like, oh, I need more clarification, or can you tell me what you're thinking about here? You just want to put the script. You want to take the script and deliver it in as faithful a fashion as possible. So you want to make sure you know what they're talking about. Or if they're terrible, you want to be able to make it better for them. But that hasn't happened yet, so that's a hypothetical.
I don't get much guidance. I just get asked to draw ponies, and that's what I do.
That is a major part of the job. Is they just say, like, can you give us something with ponies on it?
Oh yeah.
Could it be cute?
Yeah. Can you draw cute? Can you draw horse? Draw cute horse.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, there are times depending upon how the schedule works that we will get a script and they're like, okay, we need you to start working on the script. However, Hasbro hasn't approved it yet, but we're behind schedule. You got to start drawing. And so while we can communicate with the writer there, we have that extra added step. Doing a licensed product like ponies, the licensor has to see every stage. So the licensor wants to see the concept, they want to see the script, they want to see the pencils, they want to see the colors. And at any point they can go, well, that's wrong. And you might be 3 stages beyond that and have to back up. That is where our biggest communication hitch is with the licensor. But there have been times, like Sara said, she'll get a cover. We want you to do this cover. Well, what is the character design like? Well, we don't know yet because Hasbro hasn't approved the design.
Yeah.
So you can't draw it.
Yeah,
but I have to draw it.
Yeah, the most recent one was with Cosmos. So the Cosmos arc, they were just like, here's this new big bad that we're doing, that Andy's doing. And it's like, all right, what she look like? And so that's why I have an image. The first issue's cover is everybody keeps saying Wendigo, which is really cool. So it is kind of a big Miyazaki Wendigo, like elemental space monster coming down, which doesn't look like her at all now, but it was so big and Andy was working on it already. You didn't know at the time really either. So.
I had sent in designs, but they weren't approved yet, so it was like, I can't tell you.
Did they make you change anything?
No, the first one still went through. I know they made you change like the way Cosmos looks.
Yeah, we had to change final Cosmos, because Cosmos evolved in the story from what she originally looked like. But even the original drawings that you had used, I had her designed, and I was like, I think this is what I want, but we hadn't heard from Hasbro.
So Hasbro made you change from the original concept?
So at the end, Cosmos starts with one look, but by the end, when she takes over the various ponies that are helping to find the pieces of her.
The big book is big.
Yeah, big book is big. Cosmos uses a number of ponies to find pieces of her past self. She's kind of like this essence. She can't do anything yet until her body is put back together. from these bits of stars. She was turned into a constellation thousands of years ago because everything in Ponyville was thousands of years ago.
1,000.
1,000 years ago. This one's actually farther back. Oh. This is before Luna left for the moon and all of that. But Cosmos is Discord's ex-girlfriend, because everybody's got a psycho in their past. If you don't have a psycho in your past, you're the psycho.
This is a public service announcement.
Yes, and now you know. But at the end of the story, when she finally gets all the pieces of her together, she's using Twilight and Cadence and Luna and Sakura, Big Mac, Celestia, yeah. And once all the pieces get together, she takes those ponies and turns into like this super Voltron cosmos, and she's got pieces of the other ponies. And originally she was pretty horrific looking. She was very gaunt. It was like her body got stretched out with all this power. And as soon as I turned it in, my editor was like, oh, no. I'm not even going to send this to Hasbro.
Of Temple of Doom.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm going to send it in, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to say no.
Hasbro needs a good laugh today. So.
Yeah. This is a big difference between you and I, is you're always trying to touch the electric fence. Like, I one time had something get turned back, and I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? Just draw them cute from now on.
Yeah.
I'm just going to draw them cute. I don't want to have to redraw things, but I feel like you are always just going like, what if it was nightmarish? What if it was just horrifying?
No, it gets...
Do you get bored? Is that what it is?
I do get bored, and I watch a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. I mean, me too.
You know, how many of you remember the story with Sombra's origin where you meet the Umbra? Anybody? Okay.
Crystal.
I based the Umbra off of the little homunculus in Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And they're these weird, stretched out, tiny gnome elf things that eat people's teeth. Like, you know.
Like you do?
But when I did the Umbra, I wanted them to look completely different from everything else I do. So I got this long ink brush and I held it like this and I inked standing up. So they were really weird looking. And the next morning I came down to the studio and I was like, what were you thinking? I wasn't even drunk.
Bad brain, bad.
Yeah, I wasn't. And I turned to my editor, he's like, okay. And Hasbro was like, we never know.
Yeah.
You know what they, I know in the comics, this may explain a lot to you guys, because I did a children's book last year, and I kept getting notes back, like at every stage I would get notes, they're like, just move this line one direction. What does that mean?
Everybody reaches the
Very specific notes, like this eyeball is slightly wrong, and just like these little tiny tweaks that we never get in the comics. Thank you, my hotel key. And I ran into the Hasbro guys at Comic-Con and was like, hey, am I getting worse? Like, why am I getting all these notes? And they were like, on children's books we have a lot more notes because there's so much more time. On comics we're just moving so fast that we let you guys get away with all kinds of stuff. So we've been getting a real easy ride for years.
It does explain a lot.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where like I got like a bunch of notes on like move this line this way, curve it a little bit because it looks like a hook. It's like, that's a cherry stem though. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
That's when somebody new gets hired or promoted. And they really
Crack
want
down.
they want to show off for a little while.
Yeah, I can tell when it's somebody new at Hasbro approving our stuff. This needs to be moved a millimeter to the left.
Yeah.
All right, somebody.
And it's like they break their rules all the time too. Like I think I put dinosaurs in this little like Sakura like one shot I did at the end of 25, I think. And then after I'm like, what about dinosaurs? And they're like, dinosaurs don't exist. And I'm like, I beg to differ.
Creation.
But then they're like, no, they don't exist now. And they don't exist now, so I guess they're right.
So,
These answers are very long.
Yeah.
I like it.
We like talking.
We've had no sleep.
No,
Very
right.
So is there anything or anyone that you like drawing the most? And is there anything that really frustrates you?
So I say this every time, first off, but Rarity's hair is the bane of my existence.
You still don't understand?
I can't.
It's just a ribbon.
I can't do it.
Just
I can't
a
do
ribbon.
it. I
Get
can't
your
do
life
math, and I
together.
can't do Rarity's hair. There's two very specific things.
My favorite thing to draw is Rarity's hair. It's super easy.
Teach me. Discord's always hard for me too because I always forget what sides things are on. So that's another one. But my favorite to draw, Rainbow Dash is my favorite. So she's always my favorite to draw. She's just a pain to paint because it's all my paints out for every color of her dang hair.
She's terrible character.
She's not. She's the coolest. She's my girl. So she's fun to paint. Pinkie Pie is always super fun to paint. She's like the standard for comics. Like you just can do anything with her, squash, stretch, make her be in any environment, and it's fine. And then Pip. Love Pip.
Yeah.
Pip's awesome. No, there's no Pip.
You're really carrying the torch for Pip.
Pip, man. Hey. I got one. It's fine. That's all I need.
My favorites to draw are Celestia and Luna. Which is funny because when we first started the book, I hated to draw Celestia and Luna because when you're doing the main six, they're all cookie cutter. It's the exact same body, so you can do their forms exactly the same. You just change out the eyes and the hair. You might add a wing if you remember that they have wings. Things like that. Yeah, in the early issues, you will see a lot of ponies with missing parts, where we would forget who had what.
The first time I ever drew Princess Celestia was on the page, like for a job, and it is a real bad drawing. Very, very bad.
Because Celestia and Luna are completely unique body shapes, unique eye shapes, everything about them. You stopped that cookie cutter production line and had to actually draw.
And like their profiles too. And like
Yeah.
Cadence has like a different kind of nose too.
But now I think it's because of that I actually like to draw them because they're.
They break that.
Yeah, you break the mold. They're taller, so they're a little bit more sweepy. They're not quite as.
It's easier to make them look pretty.
It is. That was something I was told at one point is I was not making ponies fat enough. They said the ponies are fat.
PH.
Yeah. But yeah, those two, specifically Celestia and Luna, are my favorite to draw. And one of the things I did first off was I was like, I'm not drawing on diaphanous fog mane. Not because I didn't like it, but because I'm not going to draw the background through their hair, through the mane all the time. So I actually give them manes, but I draw their manes in a very specific manner, different from everybody else. These very eclectic, weird looks, just to make them more unique from everybody.
Like Filipino artists out there.
It's from an artist named Esteban Morato.
See, I know.
Yep.
I told you, I'm well studied.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I like to draw the princesses too. I like to draw Fluttershy pretty well. I have trouble with their eyes, I always say that. But if I've got it figured out, I'm a professional. I just work at it and I get it eventually. Yeah.
I like drawing the main six, all of them together. because
Always, all six of them.
all six of them together.
One Cronenberg monster of pony.
Cosmos. One giant monster. A la Andy.
Like a Voltron.
Like a ball.
Friendship is
No, because they all are so different, and I love drawing expressions so much. It just, it's a no-brainer for me. I can just draw them all, and it's fun. Although I do need references most times for Rarity's hair, even though I can draw Rarity's hair.
Rarity's hair. It's
just
a woman. You think it's a gender thing? Girls can't draw Rarity's hair? That doesn't make sense.
Somebody write a thesis.
I just got a tutorial here.
Yeah. Let me manage
Show the class, Andy. Or Tony, whoever you are.
I think I understand.
What in half?
This is why people get you confused. You're basically the same person, split in half. You knew it.
Help us out.
So are there any cameos or Easter eggs you'd like to slip into your work? And are there any that haven't been discovered yet?
Oh, man.
How long have we got?
Oh, geez. Yeah, you gotta give a whole other section for panel for Andy. But Yeah, I don't get to do as many because I just kind of have that one shot with the cover, but I'm a huge fan of the Mighty Boosh. So like there's a cover that has the moon up in the corner. It's the one with Pinkie Pie like being carried by a weird squid monster. So there's that. I've done, one of the first covers I did was a Karate Kid thing with Pinkie Pie on like a pole. Probably the one that I was really excited about, that was, I got it, but it's like when you can read your own handwriting. I did a Stand By Me one, but it was Snips and Snails running away from a bear, and I was just thinking of the train scene in Stand By Me, so not the body scene. But I was just like, you guys, I did this cover, and see if you can guess it. Nobody.
See, that'd be a great episode for the Cutie Mark Crusaders.
That'd be great.
Want to see a body?